People are jealous of your success. They are never jealous of the amount of effort you put behind it. They are never jealous of that.
Ah, correct.
Realize, yeah. And then it took me about 20 years to become an overnight star.
Wow.
See that when you're the leader, like you talk about soul leadership, when you're a leader doesn't have any plan B or something to fall back on. He's working on something. In case that doesn't work, he'll work on something else. But if
Yes.
you go into something with plan A, B, C, then you're gonna die. You'll never reach plan A because you always have options.
Yes.
Plan B should never be an option. Reason you're doing art is not for the name, fame, or money. You're doing it because you're passionate about it. So
Yes.
you're doing it whether you're gonna get paid for it or not. This is what I want to do. If I even if I don't get paid, right?
Yes.
That's the number one thing. If you're going in for the money and the name and fame, then it's not gonna last because your art will not be up to the mark.
Hi. So today for the Evolvement podcast, I am very, very privileged to have on my podcast Sukhdev Virdee. Sukhdev has really reimagined himself. He is a leader in multiple streams. And yes, he actually embodies the essence of resilience, of always re-examining yourself, also finding what are you meant to be now. He has not just had on a hat of a popular singer, but now he is into a new, different phase of his life where he talks about non-duality, Advaita, and today we're going to delve into what makes Sukhdev what he is, and yes, finding his inner resilience. So, in the Evolvement podcast, we talk about leaders. See, to lead others, you have to also lead yourself. To find that inner resilience, that inner power and strength that it takes to first lead yourself and then you lead the world. So, thanks so much, Sukhdev, for coming here. And I'm extremely, extremely privileged to have you here on my podcast. Hi.
Thank you so much, Vrin. I've been following you as well, and you're doing an amazing job. Thank you so much for that introduction. That's brilliant.
Sukhdev, when I just spoke to you initially, I remember, you spoke about your song, and I actually saw the song, and I remembered. See, it was
Right.
part of it, and I remember even the so there was this thing which used to come, like I remember Dekh Bhai Dekh karke there was a serial which used to come.
Yes, 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 yes.
So the Sanju in Dekh by Dekh,
Yeah,
which was like we really, I mean, we knew him,
yeah,
and
yeah,
he was the main character, who was playing that thing.
yeah.
And I saw the music video and Solva Salan immediately, like lot of memories started coming through.
I'm that old.
No, I am also that old. I'm your age. I mean, I think that is similar. You're
Right.
slightly younger than me, I guess. But but I loved it. I love the fact that there is this person who is a singer, and and you had a really great career as a singer. So I want to start delving from there. What was your journey like? How did that come about?
So now I'm based in India, but I'm born and brought up in Kenya.
Okay.
Sikh family, Punjabi family. So I studied all my schooling. I did it in Kenya. Then I went to London. In Kenya, I had started doing. I was really passionate about playing keyboards. I love the keyboards,
Okay.
and so I used to do. I started doing one-man shows in Kenya where I would have three keyboards, a drum machine, sequencers, sing and play all the music at the same time. And I started doing shows. Then, the conservative family where you have relatives and friends who start come and taunting you, taunting my parents, telling my dad that singing and all that is okay. It's not a career. Get him to do some work. And then I thought, okay, then it's not that. Maybe they think a degree or a piece of paper, a diploma or a graduate thing will be, the somebody who's a professional. So I went to London. I did a BTech in music production and performance. So I'm a BTech in music production and performance. Then I was in Dubai for about 2 years, and I came to India in 1999 with an album which I had recorded, Sol Basal, like you mentioned.
Mm.
Um, this was an album that I had made because I had done so many shows. I used to do about 5 or 6 shows a week. So maybe
Wow.
1 or 2 days in a week, I am free, and sometimes 2 or 3 shows in a day.
Right.
in different venues. So I had that knowledge of what works on stage, what people like at parties, those kind of songs. So I created
Right.
my own songs based on that.
Huh.
And then I came to India, my first time in India, in Mumbai, no relatives, no friends, nobody. So I landed here, took up the yellow pages, called up all the music companies. None of them wants to meet me. Only two companies met me. And out of that, I went ahead with T Series.
Mm-hmm.
And they heard the songs and they loved them. So they went ahead and made the video. And you're talking about Dek by Dek Sanju. He was taken in for that video.
Huh.
I didn't even know who he was at that time. And
Right.
so then that album went on to become a big hit. And suddenly I was from Sukhdev's Nobody in India to, a star where people were
Hmm.
now stopping me on the streets to, take autographs, pictures, that kind of
Hmm.
stuff. So that was my musical journey. And then
Hmm.
after that, a few more albums came, singles came. I kept doing music. Um, then, if you want to go into the spiritual part right now or later,
No, so you know what? At that level where you have this beautiful career and a career which, millions would really die for, to
yeah,
have that career and, to have that kind of a leadership in the market where you get, this is what I'm doing.
yeah.
And then what made you, like, what happened with you?
You're talking about how the shift happened
Ha,
towards
like because it's
spirituality?
not an easy shift. See,
Yeah,
I have been coaching people and mentoring them, and on their soul leadership. We'll talk about it later, maybe. But many of them, once they find that one zone of a genius, like this is a zone of excellence, a zone of genius,
yeah.
they don't tend to search for anything else. It's like, I'm done. This is me. This is what I identify with. And they never will ever experience anything else in their life.
Okay.
It's just like saying, okay, no, no, I am, like, oh, I am an HR professional. And that's it. That just defines them. They never think of that something else can also be beyond, and what else you can be, you can achieve multiple, you can have multiple hats you're wearing, right?
Right, right, right.
Why stick at one thing, which is something which I find really amazing? Why don't people explore more? So this is something that I would like to, kind of ask you.
Uh, Brilliant question. Brilliant. I'm laughing because my son, I was one day talking, I have a 15-year-old son. And one day I was telling him that, when I was young, I wanted to be a pilot. I wanted to be an accountant. I wanted to be an astronaut. I wanted to be an engineer. I wanted to be a doctor. One day I'll want to do this, want to do that, want to do this. And then he simply asked me, so then what happened? And it made me think, what happened? Yeah. I realized I went to school. I was put in school.
Ah,
And school taught me what I can do and what I can't do. It shut my mind.
right.
Like you say, an HR professional doesn't think of anything else because he's been conditioned right from childhood.
Ah,
And so school tells you now you can do this, you can pursue this, these are the options you have. It doesn't let you free. It restricts. That's what I feel, that conditioning right from childhood, this kind of schooling that we have is, and this, if you've read Rich Dad Poor Dad and all these financial people who are talking about it, school makes you, prepares you for a job, to become an employee. That's
that's
what it does, to
yeah.
follow orders from somebody else.
Hmm.
And you'll find that most of the successful people are not those who follow orders, they're the ones who give orders, and they are the ones who have actually skipped school or bunked school or dropped out of college. Yeah.
Correct. Who've
So
not
I,
let themselves be accepted by, like, this is the status quo, and
yeah,
somewhere even gone against their parents. By the way,
yeah,
parents
yeah,
also want you to take that set career,
yes,
take a job, do this. The minute you say, I'm starting my own thing, parents will, like, they get hyperventilating. I mean, they're like, what happened? What is going to happen? Who will look after you? Like, oh my God, my
right,
child is going to be like destitute, homeless.
yeah,
So,
yeah.
what is that feeling?
I went through that as well. My dad was the strict religious person. He listened to only bhajans and shabads. Went to the gurdwara. Never listened to even filmy songs and leave pop songs along away. And here is his son who says, "I want to go on stage and sing," all this kind of songs. And so there was quite a bit of resistance initially.
Hmm.
But then what happened is they gave in to me buying a little keyboard, a small keyboard.
Okay.
So imagine my dad's 1 month's salary we spent on just one keyboard, which he doesn't know what's going to happen with it. He bought it. So for them at that time, it's a big thing. Your entire 1 month salary that's going to run the house, we're spending it on this little object and we don't know what you're going to do with it.
Right.
So I learned how to play the keyboards, and they saw me practicing for 15 or 16 hours a day.
Okay.
Okay. So
Deep.
they realized that this guy is really number one passionate and serious about it, and he is, playing good music.
Ah,
Then what happened? The acceptance came when I started playing with bands. So I joined some bands, started playing keyboards for them.
right.
So I got started getting payment, and
Ah,
then I went on to do my own one man concerts. Now, whereby what my dad was earning in 1 month, I was earning in one night.
ah,
Okay, so
ah,
now they understood that okay, this can be a career. You can live on this, and
correct.
so they accepted it, and they accepted it fully. Then I had full on support.
Okay. But something with a creative career,
Yeah,
what really happens is even with an entrepreneur career, you know,
yeah,
it comes with its own uncertainty. If it's you're earning like,
yeah, yeah,
you're like sky is the limit.
yeah,
But when the downtime comes, when there is somehow there's no job, or so I have been coaching and mentoring many of these people who are artists, and this is one thing where we actually delve in the mental, the mindset, because during that time it's the most difficult phase.
yeah,
People don't understand how, they just see the good, they just see the beautiful. You're like, this is what you are, but
yeah,
these are the
yeah,
people, even during that phase, they
yeah,
have to maintain their discipline, they have to keep practicing.
yeah.
So what was that with you?
I love the way you're saying people only see the success or the final outcome.
Hmm.
There's a good quote I came across recently. What was it? People are jealous of your success. They are never jealous of the amount of effort you put behind it. They are never jealous of that.
Ah, correct.
Realize, yeah. And then it took me about 20 years to become an overnight star.
Wow.
See that I became a star overnight, but it took me 20 years to do that.
Yes,
Uh,
completely.
yeah, it's when you are in this, you don't have any safety net when you're an entrepreneur, when you're on your own, when you're the leader, like you talk about soul leadership. When you're a leader doesn't have any plan B or something to fall back on. He's working on something. In case that doesn't work, he'll work on something else. But if
Yes.
you go into something with plan A, B, C, then you're gonna die. You'll never reach plan A because you always have options.
Yes.
Plan B should never be an option. So again, I'll come down to schooling and conditioning. I don't know. I just realized that we've been conditioned to think of safety, survival, fear.
Hmm.
What you're talking about is fear.
It's
That
fear.
what happens if we don't have money? What happens if I don't have a job? What happens if something goes wrong? If some medical emergency comes? It's fear based.
Hmm.
You're taught that.
Hmm.
And you don't have that as a child.
Yeah.
Why did you ever never think of all these things when you were a child? Your mind was open and things used to happen. And today, if you actually sit down and analyze, you may think that you're doing all these things. Try stopping it. They will still happen.
No, but you know what? When that phase was happening for you, so how did you, obviously, every day you're not busy. There are
Yeah,
some days
of
where,
course.
you
Yes.
don't have work. So how did you handle that downturn? I definitely ask all artists that.
Yeah.
See,
Yeah. Yeah.
artists, sports people are the ones, who are, you see, you see, everyone sees a Virat Kohli,
Yeah.
that he's won so many matches, and a Sachin Tendulkar, but they
Yeah.
had their failures.
Yes. Yes.
There were
Yes. Yes.
days where they were not doing well, the days they lost the matches, and the entire country, not just their family, entire country is disappointed.
Yeah. Yeah.
What do
Yeah.
you think? What kind of resilience it takes to work on that and to always come back and say, no, I can do it? What was
You've
that?
got to, you have to have belief in yourself. Number one, for an artist, it's the reason you're doing art is not for the name, fame, or money. You're
Ah,
doing it because you're passionate about it. So
yes.
you're doing it whether you're going to get paid for it or not. This is what I want to do if I even if I don't get paid. Right? That's the number one thing. If you're going in for the money and the name and fame, then it's not going to last because your art will not be up to the mark. So you're going in with that. Now, if you're sure of your art,
Mm.
then it does not matter what anybody thinks. Really.
Ah,
If you write a book, I wrote 10 books after awakening. And when I finished them, I said, what have I done? I wanted to read a story, so I wrote down one. I
ah,
wanted somebody to teach me Vedanta the way I have put it in the books. So
right.
there's a passion, and I don't care if anybody reads the books or not.
Ah,
That was never the reason. So for Sachin Tendulkar, a Virat Kohli, he knows his game, he
mm,
knows his capability, his potential, and he also knows that there are times he'll come out on zero, and at times he'll make 200 as well. Yeah.
yeah,
So he's prepared for both. And when you see both of them, when they are dismissed,
right.
you'll find them not really reacting much. Virat does when they're on the fielding part, but when he's batting and he's out, he's very calmly walks away. Same with
Yeah.
Sachin Tendulkar. They know it's part of the game.
Mm,
You can't be a leader and expect to win all the time.
yeah.
Imagine how boring that would be. Imagine you're reading a book and
Ah.
you read chapter one and it says everything's fine. Chapter two, all well. Chapter three, everything's super. Chapter four, are you going to read that? No.
No, we love to read about the resilience. That's why I say, resilience is the biggest quality of a leader.
Yeah.
Resilience, without resilience, nothing else will come into play. If
Yeah.
you expect that, okay, you're going to get everything on a silver platter
Yeah.
and you have not really built it up, nothing is going to happen. But you know
Absolutely.
what? I love, so I was recently watching this, docu series coming on, I think it was on Amazon Prime about, Javed Akhtar and Salim Khan, the Salim
Ah,
Javed,
yeah.
the
Yeah. Yeah.
combo, that was just
Angry
recently
young
coming.
man or something.
Angry Young Men,
Yeah.
I think there was one thing which I love the fact that Salim Khan was so audacious. And so he had this thing that, I am a leader. People told him Sholay wasn't working. And he actually placed an ad in the paper and said that, oh, yeah, no, it'll work. It's going to cross 10 CR. Can you
Okay.
imagine that kind of guts it takes to see
Yeah.
something like that?
Yeah.
But there was one thing which Javed Akhtar mentioned, and I would like to say that here. There was a day where he did not have money to travel. He could not travel. He was coming from Dadar to Bandra or somewhere. He didn't have money, so he had to walk it up. He didn't have money to eat.
Yeah.
And in his mind, he said, I was not thinking that I am so destitute, I don't have money, or how will I manage? He said, in my mind, I'm thinking, oh, yeah, this is one day going to go in my memoirs.
Right.
I mean, that inner belief, that certainty that
Yeah.
I am going to be famous, I am going to grow.
Yeah.
That is somewhere for me, that is soul leadership.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're not going as per others' belief about you. You have your own certainty that, no, this is me. This is
Yeah.
what I am meant to be. And that, I think, is something very, very important, that everyone who actually succeeds definitely has that.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Like I said, like if Salim Saab said that, like I said
Yeah,
earlier, there
yeah.
is no plan B. This is the
Ah,
only way. It's
correct.
gonna happen. I'm gonna make it happen, or if it will happen. Obstacles will come. I will
Ah,
overcome the obstacles, but it will happen.
yeah.
There's
That's
no
just
two
one
ways
more
about it.
story. That's one more story to tell people that this is what happened to me.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So yeah, this that's very mature of them because they were writers and they have thought, they
Ah,
think about how the society works, how people normally think,
ah,
and so for him, he's like a character. With this character in this story has one more punch point in his story of life where
correct.
he didn't have any money and then
Ah,
how he overcame it.
ah,
He's gonna write that story uh,
yeah.
because it is going to happen. And if you've been alive for a few years and a few decades, like we all are, if you're listening to this also, life has ups and downs,
Ah,
right? So if it's up, it's going to go down. If it's down, it's going to come up.
yeah.
If you're alive, the heartbeat is going up and
Mm.
down. There is an up and down.
So what was your, now this is where, you kind of grew, but I'm sure, that you also went through phases where it was not hunky dory. It was, there were phases where you must have gone through
Oh
a
yes,
lot. How
yeah,
was
yeah.
that phase like?
Oh yes, yes. So, like I said, when I was in Kenya, when I was in UK, I was studying, doing shows. I was doing 5 or 6 shows a week, earning so much money. But when I came down to India, I was pretty new. I
Hmm.
had my album; it became a big success, but people did not know how to get in touch with me for
Ah,
shows. So
okay.
a lot of shows I lost out with the organizers and event managers telling the clients that, oh, he's not based in India, so we can't get him. Let's get another artist. So I didn't
Okay.
have those kind of shows in India,
Huh.
and so my amount of shows reduced. But obviously the price went up. So the few ones that I did were much higher priced. Then in 2001, yeah, this phase that you're talking about
Hmm.
is I went through in 2001 where I was living on rent. I hadn't paid my rent for 7 months. I had
Wow.
taken up a car on EMI. I hadn't paid the EMI for about three or 4 months. And I remember living on soup,
Ah.
just soup. And the reason for soup was because I had a little Chinese guy outside my house who would make hot and sour soup for 20 rupees. And
Okay.
it had vegetables in it and it had the soup. So I was getting vegetables. So I would order only 20 rupees soup and I lived on that for quite some time. Now, how I came out of it, now here's destiny, or what you can say, some grace defiance that comes in. The real estate agent who I got my flat from, haven't paid rent for 7 months. Imagine in Bombay, somebody lets you stay in their house for 7 months without paying rent. Impossible.
Impossible.
Especially if they don't even know you. They've
Yeah.
never met you. So the day I got the money, I went to my real estate agent and I told him, here's the money for all the 7 months. Please thank the owners that they let me stay without, any
Hmm.
problems. And you know what he said? He told me, Sukhdev, are you crazy? Nobody would let you stay here like that. I have been paying your rent on your behalf.
Oh my God. That's,
Yeah.
oh, you know what?
It's
That's,
like goosebumps.
yeah, I mean, that's
Yeah.
divine grace.
And
That's not just,
yeah,
yeah, this
what
is,
had happened at that
ah,
point was fear had pushed me to the end where I said, okay, I'm done. I'm not going to take this up anymore. I can't pay my rent. What is the max that will happen? They'll throw me out of the house. I
hmm,
can't pay the EMI of the car. What's the most that will happen? They'll take the car away.
hmm.
Let them do that. I'm fine with that. I accepted it. And I said, I'm not going to live in this fear anymore. And that created a whole shift where I am now not scared of any situation.
Amazing. I mean, this is actually something which, where we talk about non-duality and everything.
Yeah.
So, you might, I mean, I don't share this, but my mother has had a NDE, near death
Okay.
experience,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
and I have obviously follow up other people also because, obviously my mother had it. So, everyone else, I follow that.
Okay.
And this is one thing which people always talk about when you have an NDE. I know
Okay.
that you and I have not had it,
Yeah.
but fear is the first thing that they let go of.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
No longer
Because
scared of anything. Like death से नहीं डर लगा तो और क्या डर लगेगा? क्या हो जाएगा? मर जाएंगे? You know,
uh,
that's like, yeah. So fear is something, and I just love it that this. So what did that shift do to you?
Uh, so you also realize now this is where other things like, where you learn about law of attraction and where you believe it or you don't believe it, you realize that you had been attracting those kind of situations. Now, when you let go of fear, you're no longer vibrating at that frequency. You attract fear. Fear is an emotion. Fear is an emotion, and an emotion is a vibration that you're emitting out, and
Hmm.
it's going to attract like a frequency. So you're attracting more fear. The more fearful you are, the more fear you're attracting. So you let go of it. It slowly starts moving away. Try
Ah,
that. I mean,
it's
it's amazing. It's like, people don't believe in the law of attraction. I'm not saying you should believe in it or not. It's like the law of gravity. Whether
yes,
you believe in it or not, it doesn't matter. It's still going to apply to you.
exactly.
Yeah.
And energy is the one thing which is constant in our world. So energy
Yes.
is what makes everything work. You know,
Yeah. Yeah.
everything is connected. So this energy becomes that energy, and we are all connected. We are all one. You know,
Yes.
so,
Yes. Yes.
I remember one very nice example which somebody had given me. He said there are two boats in a lake. Okay.
Yeah.
Now you might think that I have a separate boat that has a separate boat.
Yeah.
Okay. But you're not different. You're in the same lake. By just thinking that you are
Yeah.
different, you are actually like cutting yourself off from the source. We're all together,
Yeah.
we're all connected. And I think that is what non-duality is, right? I would like you to
Slightly,
explain that.
slightly different.
Okay, tell me.
Slightly different because so what I'll tell you is, you know what you said. Imagine there are two boats on
Mm-hmm.
the lake,
Mm-hmm.
and one person thinks that they're separate from the other boat,
Mm-hmm.
right? So this person and that person seem they're separate. Now, this person, if he looks at the lake, he can say, that, okay, I may be one with everything, but this is a lake. I am in this boat, that boat. This boat is different from that boat. No matter what I think,
Huh.
it's in a different space. It came at a different time. It's got a different person in it. Yeah, you can't deny that.
Hmm.
So, what Advaita will tell you, what is the truth? The truth is the one who is seeing this scenario. He is seeing it all as one. You see
Okay.
that? That is one.
Um,
That is all connected.
okay. So
Because this
every time.
person will always be different from that. But the one
Huh.
who is seeing it both, he's seeing one.
Oh, so it's the vision, it is the perspective.
Yes, it is a perspective. It is a perspective. And where does
Yeah,
perspective arise?
right.
All perspective arises in the mind, right? So you think about it. So now Advaita and Vedanta. Now my spiritual journey, I'm so glad I came into Advaita Vedanta because it is immanent and transcendent. It is in and through everything and transcends it. It has the answers to everything, and then it dissolves the questioner. There is no more question. So in that way, I am okay
Hmm.
with either a war going on in Ukraine, children dying, somebody celebrating a birthday, somebody being born, somebody else dying. It's all a divine play. Beautiful. Just
Yeah.
like the story that we are talking about,
Huh.
Sachin Tendulkar,
Yes,
the
correct.
story is next match he goes on to make 100. Yeah, so that's the story, and this is the divine story. And when you see it from that perspective, what a story, what a drama, what a play, what a movie. And you are in it, watching it ultra HD,
Yeah,
front row seat.
correct.
Yeah,
It,
it is all perspective. And Advaita Vedanta goes to the root of it.
hmm.
What is the root of your your perception?
Hmm.
The root of all your thoughts, all your emotions, all your actions is what you think and know yourself to be.
Right. Amazing. Amazing. You're part of this,
Is
and
there a
you're just enjoying things. You're not trying to do something. There's no frenzy. ये करना
no?
है, वो करना है. It's like things are happening because it's all part of the same thing.
Y-
It's meant to be.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So
It's just
you
that.
have no problem with all that, yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, yes, you have to come out of that fear, come out of that. You have to let the things come to you, not just.
How how do you become fearless?
Ah,
If you have read any of these books, I think I saw a video today. Someone had said that the most repeated phrase in the Bible is "Do not fear, do not be afraid."
okay.
It's repeated 365 times in the Bible. Now,
Wow.
I'm not confirming it, but I saw a video that said that.
Uh-huh.
And when another thing that the Bible says is know the truth, and the truth will set you free. Right? So free from what? When it says set you free, and it doesn't say from what, it means free from everything. Right? So
Right.
there is no this or that. It's free from everything.
Amazing.
So when you know who you truly are,
Hmm.
then what is there to fear? Because what you truly are is immortal. You can never die. You are the entire universe. You are what is going on around you. You are the creator of this part of your life, this part of the universe. And you are immortal. I mean, what are you scared of? What can you be scared of? You know, when you go to, I take my son to play video games sometime in the mall, in these arcades, and you play a game whereby you know you're playing this character, and it's a shooting game. People are gonna, and you have a life, and you're gonna die as well in the game. Do you go into the games trying to save yourself and being very scared that that person will die, I will die? No, you play that game absolutely fearlessly. If I die, no problem, come back. Died, it's a game. That's what
It's
the
okay.
universe is. So you're fearless
Ah.
of anything here.
How did you discover this? I mean, I need to know this. How did you come into this path of Advaita and non-dualism?
Yeah. So in 2015, I had a really dark phase of my life. The most vulnerable state of my life, financially, mentally, physically, emotionally, and literally to the point of breakdown completely. And out of the blue, three friends of mine who I rarely meet gift me the Bhagavad Gita
Hmm.
out of the blue. They
Wow.
give me the Bhagavad. Three different people within 2 weeks give me the Bhagavad Gita. And because
Ah.
I'm going through this phase really bad, I decide to read it. And so I read it, and my God, what Krishna writes in that. I mean, I would say nobody would have the courage or the I would say the balls to write that if you are not what he says he is.
Hmm.
Um, he answered all my questions that I had since childhood. I was very spiritual since
Hmm.
childhood. So I'm
Hmm.
Sikh. We went to the Gurdwara. We did Matha Tek in front of the Guru Granth Sahib. At home, we had all the Hindu gods, Shiva, Lakshmi. We had all that. In school, we studied Christianity, Islam, Buddhism. So there were all this variety of religions. And my question was always, which one is the real one? Who is the supreme one? Which one are they? Uh, in Guru Granth Sahib, they talk about, Guru Nanak talks about Vaheguru, Nirankar, and
Hmm.
Nirbhav, Nirvay, the imageless, the formless. In Islam, they talk about Allah, which is formless.
Hmm.
So uh, in Buddhism, there is no God. And in Hinduism, there's a whole buffet of gods, right? So you can start off how I started off with was taking Krishna to be God.
Hmm.
And then I was pushed into Advaita Vedanta, and then I understood what the Gita or
Hmm.
Krishna says in the Gita as I am God. It is
Hmm.
not I as Krishna am God. It
Yeah.
is the I that is within you. You have to find that to be God.
Yeah.
That has to be realized by yourself.
Yes.
And if you study the Upanishads, all the Upanishads, there is no mention of any God in the Upanishads. It's all about you.
Hmm.
When they talk about Brahman, Atman, it is you. In the Bhagavad Gita, second chapter, Krishna talks about the soul. He says
Hmm.
it's immortal, can never die, it can never be dried, cannot be cut by weapons, and all this stuff.
Hmm.
That means it's immortal, and you are the soul. You are immortal.
Yeah.
And then here comes the question: why are you fearing? What are you fearing when you're immortal?
Huh. I mean, the biggest fear is death. The biggest
Yeah.
fear is कि क्या होगा, uncertainty. But yeah, we're not going to die. We're always going to be there.
No, you're not gonna die. You
Ah.
will never die.
Yeah.
The what was born? What was born?
Huh.
The body was born.
Correct.
The body will die.
Huh.
The
Correct.
mind comes and learns a lot of things, and the mind will go away with those things. What is born and dies is the body, the physical body.
Correct.
And in Advaita Vedanta, then they have the subtle body, the causal body that travels on to different lives.
Hmm.
And if you realize the truth, then that's the end of the cycle of birth
Yeah.
and death. So you realize you're never gonna die. So not that you're never gonna die. For people listening to this might think, oh, how are you gonna become immortal? It's how can something that is born never gonna die? Anything that is born will die. So
Correct.
what do you realize? You realize you were never born. That is why you can never die.
Right. you just take on a certain identity for a
Yes.
certain lifetime, because
Yes.
you're kind of learning. There are certain things that you have to learn for this lifetime,
Yes. Yes.
you
Yes.
know. And so this is something which I experienced. I mean, uh, I think this life of mine, I was very scared from birth. My this particular lifetime, and I've also done a lot of past life regressions, and
Just to cut you here,
I've done
you
that.
because
Yeah.
just to cut you here, you'll carry on. Uh, you said you were scared right from birth.
Yes.
Yeah, I tell you, a child when he's born has only two fears.
Huh.
Number one of falling down, and number two of loud sounds.
Right.
All the other fears are acquired.
Correct.
All are conditioned.
No, I'll tell you what, something very different for me. It wasn't, I mean, there was this very innate fear of what is going to happen. And I think there was something in me that was, so my mother was my one beacon. I was to hold on to her. I was scared of everything else. From a very young age, for me, my mother was like, I have to hold on to her.
Yeah, yeah,
And people in my family used to call me a touch me not. It's like only your mother can touch you, nobody else can touch you. She'll start crying or something. So there's this lot of fear inside me. And actually I realized I went through a lot of past life regressions. And I take people through it also, and I do it on my own. So we do it through self-hypnosis. And I actually saw that many of my lifetimes had been very, very stressed out. Like earlier lifetimes, I had gone through so much that this lifetime I was scared to even be born. I remember at a very young age saying, I hope this is my last life. I hope I'm done. Let me die. Let me go back to my home. So that was where I used to come from. And it took so many experiences, some harsh, some soft, mostly harsh, for me to get grounded in this life and say that no, this is me. I am going to live this life. I am going to enjoy my life. I am going to attain something here, and I am not scared of anything. That was my job. So this is something which, I mean, I have actually, I am more open now. I am more, there's a lot of freedom in me, and it's like
great.
joy.
Uh,
Because now
Great.
it's like I'm done. You can't tell me anything. I mean, I'm done.
Right, right. If we
Yeah.
come from an Advaita point of view, a non-dual point of view, which is what I talk and teach about, because there is nothing higher than that for,
Huh.
I mean, for anybody to know. Here's the question. You experienced or you went into your past lives and you saw those and you saw what happened, right?
Hmm.
Here's the question. The one that saw all
Huh.
those things happening,
Right.
did that one die ever?
No.
That's here. You are immortal.
Yeah. Completely.
Yeah.
That didn't
And
die, but that was carrying so many burdens, like
yes,
literally on my head, layers and layers and layers of things. I'm not
yes,
looking at people, I'm like looking at them through filters. You
yes,
know, you
yes.
have to kind of take that out and like you're done.
Yeah, yeah. You, I studied Kashmiri Shaivism as well.
Huh.
So, Shakti,
Hmm.
sorry, Shaktism. Shakti is the power of Shiva, and Shakti is the absolute truth.
Huh.
Shiva is also the absolute truth. Vishnu is also the absolute truth. And three of them are one. I'm diverting, but Shakti is the power of
Hmm.
creation.
Hmm.
There are only three powers that she has, which
Oh,
you and I have, which
right.
everyone has. Ichha Shakti, Gyan Shakti, Kriya Shakti, which is
Correct.
power of will, intellectual power, and physical power.
Right.
You only have emotions, thoughts, and actions. That's all you have in your life.
Right.
Your entire life is an experience from birth to death.
Hmm.
An experience of what? Emotions, thoughts, and actions.
Hmm.
What kind of emotions? A variety. What kind of thoughts? A million. What kind of actions? A million. And these combine in different ways to give you your unique experience from me and you. But
Ah.
it is only emotions, thoughts, and actions. Now, these related to the body is nothing but energy,
Hmm.
frequency, vibration.
Yeah,
right?
obviously,
So if you're
lovely.
carrying emotions, it's
Huh,
emotional baggage you're carrying. You're
huh,
carrying intellectual baggage, and you're carrying this physical baggage as well.
right.
This is going to work out its karma, whatever. The karma is related to this body and mind.
Huh,
You are free of both.
wow.
Yeah. So this body,
Emotions?
like you said, layers
Huh,
and layers. Those layers
huh,
have to be let gone. Emotional. What are you carrying? These. How are you carrying them? Also because of beliefs.
ah, right.
And what is a belief? A belief is something that you do not know.
Hmm.
If you knew it, you would never believe in it because you know it.
It's certainty. Yeah,
Yeah. That's what
correct.
Vedanta is.
Yeah,
Uh,
I
the
love
difference
it. So
between
emotions, thoughts, and action.
actions. Yeah. Yeah.
Amazing, amazing. Yeah. So emotions are what give rise to those thoughts, right?
Yes.
Somewhere,
Yes.
huh?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
because I mean, things keep happening around you, but only if there's an emotion that you will start thinking about it.
Yes.
If
Absolutely.
there's no
Absolutely.
emotion, you will have no thought. You're like, ah, something happened. You're just an audience member. You're not participating because there's no emotion. Oh, ha, theek hai. Oh, she's had na, theek hai. So something's happening. But
Yeah.
emotions give rise to those thoughts, and thoughts will give rise to the action. I love it. I just love it. Yeah, amazing. Uh,
Yeah, so all that energy has to be let go, and you can never finish it. So if
uh,
somebody thinks that I'm gonna, b- uh, what I'm gonna equalize all my karma that I've accumulated, I'm gonna clear it out.
uh,
That is impossible. Impossible, because
right,
you have sanchita karma, you have agami karma, and then you have prarabdha karma, and
right.
so you have come with a little portion of that in this lifetime. So you can't clear all of it. The only way to clear all of it is to
Hmm.
transcend it,
Yes.
to transcend it. And
Right.
then this one will work throughout its life and finish its prarabdha karma.
Hmm.
And then you're done. Like you said,
Yeah.
you're done.
Yeah. Did you feel the need of a guru? Do you have a guru?
Ah, I don't know. I would say I'm lucky not to have had a guru.
Okay.
Uh, because like I said, from my childhood, my dad was very spiritual. I was very spiritual. So we used to go to these satsangs, and I used to listen intently to the preachers, what they
Hmm.
were preaching, and I
Huh.
would try to understand what they're saying. And all of them, most of them, what I realized was saying is that you do need a guru. You do need a guru. And at that time, uh, well, from now, I can tell you what something else. But at that time, I thought I needed a guru.
Hmm.
But then, if I had a guru who was in a living body, would tell me what to do, I again would probably think, because he doesn't really, I would doubt that he knows exactly where I am in my path. When I went to school, I was a bright child because we were told if you go to school and you fail, you're going
Hmm.
to be a failure in life. So we studied very hard, me and my siblings.
Yeah.
So I always had this, 1 year for one class, standard 2, standard 3, grade 4, grade 5. I will work twice as hard, but put me, make me jump. I'll go from grade 2 to grade 4 in 1 year. I'm
Hmm.
willing to put in that effort.
Hmm.
Don't grind, put me in a normal thing. Everybody takes 1 year, so even you should take 1 year. No. So the guru, if a guru would have come, it would have been good. I interviewed some guy on my podcast just about 2 weeks ago, and I asked him the same thing. Did you have a guru? And he
Huh.
said no, but a guru would have helped. Yeah. So the guru is also looking for you. The way you are looking for a guru, the
Hmm.
guru is also looking for you. The
Correct.
guru is not separate from you. The guru
Right.
is within you. And
Right.
so what happens is, if you follow some path, some spiritual path, you'll
Hmm.
find the guru of that path coming to find you. So I had Guru Nanak, I
Hmm.
had Ramana Maharshi,
Hmm.
I had Krishna, I had Shiva. Yeah,
Hmm.
these were my gurus who came to me because how did I come to Ramana Maharshi? Because when I studied the Upanishads, I came down to the final conclusion that all these people are talking about one thing, which is the ego, the I thought.
Hmm.
And Ramana Maharshi does the same thing. And so when I'm on that path, now Ramana comes looking for me.
Hmm.
So he came
Yeah.
into my vision and all that. So the
Right.
guru is looking for you as well. It's an
Right.
energy that's going to match. But ultimately, the guru is coming to tell you that the guru, the real guru, is within you. It's not separate from you.
Yeah, I love it. Because I also used to feel that, I mean, I am also a Sikh, that. So uh,
Yeah, yeah,
for me, Guru Gobind Singh Ji was always my ultimate guru, and I grew up with the love of Guru Gobind Singh Ji. For me, and he was not even a guru, he was like my buddy.
yeah.
Like I would talk to him. I
Yeah,
remember in college, I was not doing well, and I've always I have been someone who's always struggled with studies. I was never good in studies. I
okay.
am the one, that the people who come second last, third last.
Right.
I, I have been struggling my entire life till I got into that, that fearless mode. So
Yeah,
this
yeah,
struggle of, and not passing and like I never flunked, but it was always with difficulty. And I mean, my father would say, "Itna le aayegi na, like, will she pass? Will she do that?"
yeah,
And when I started getting little better marks and all that, and my father was the most shocked. He's like, "Oh, she got so much." Like there was this, no expectation from me
yeah,
somewhere.
yeah,
So, but for me, Guru Gobind Singh Ji was such a strong figure that I used to feel the presence. I feel someone standing next to me.
yeah,
I would feel that, okay, I'm doing this. Acha, so I used to call him Guruji. I said, Guruji, okay, I'm doing it. Abhi ye kar rahi hu. So now you handle it. Okay, I'm starting it. No, you handle it. So
uh,
there was always this partnership going on
yeah,
between him and me. And later on, it actually evolved to a certain level where it was no longer Guru Gobind Singh Ji. It was the one God. What? It was no longer like a name, a shape. It was, there's just Guruji and there's me.
yeah, yeah,
And that kind of, I started getting my energy from him. It was no longer that, I need to do something or be something. And that started kind of protecting me.
yeah,
I realized I could go anywhere and I would have this protection. Like, how a child is not scared of falling because, the parent is going to look out them because there's someone holding them.
yeah.
And that started happening with me. And then I realized that this is no longer Guru Gobind Singh Ji or Guru Nanak Dev Ji. It is just Guruji. You
Right.
know? So
Yeah.
that started growing. And that was, I think, the best experience of my life. And, uh,
Super.
and what? I've gone through one of your podcasts. And I
Huh.
want to ask you about this, by the way. I'm very, very curious.
Sure, sure, sure.
There was a podcast which you did with, I think, Sunny Sharma.
Yeah.
Okay. And you mentioned something in that, and I am very curious because I want to know this. I have not had that experience, and I want to know from you. Okay. You mentioned that there was a phase where suddenly, after reading the Bhagavad Gita, you started feeling that wherever my thoughts are going, I am going.
Hmm.
You had that out of body experience, or what? What was that? I want
Ah,
to know about it, please, because
yeah.
I am very curious.
Yeah. So, like I spoke about the dark phase I went through, and three people gifted me the Bhagavad Gita when I read it. Now, here's the thing, in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna is so gracious. He gives 18 chapters and he covers the entire universe in 700 verses.
Yeah.
The entire, you can't think of something that is not mentioned in the Bhagavad Gita.
Mm.
It covers everything. But at the end of it all, in the 18th chapter, he tells Arjun, okay, there is no use of all this knowledge that I have given you. Simply surrender unto me and I will do it all for you.
Ah.
You know? So that's what I did. So for the next 2 years after reading the Bhagavad Gita, I did nothing. I cut off from all my work. I was almost at home. I just read the Bhagavad Gita for 2 years daily. And that's all I did. I
Wow.
knew the verses by heart, and everything that was mentioned that I could do in the Bhagavad Gita, I did. Which I didn't understand, I never did. What I could not do, I couldn't do. I never did. But what I could do, like offering flower, offering leaves, offering a fruit, offering food to the deities before, I did all that.
Hmm.
So after 2 years, so he talks about meditation as well. So I did meditate as well.
Ah.
The way you were speaking to Guru Gobind Singh Ji, I was speaking to Krishna. I
Ah.
was doing that. And so after 2 years, one fine morning when I woke up from my meditation, uh, I just walked towards the mandir in my house, and suddenly my body froze. I'm standing, my body is frozen like a dead, like a sculpture. And I was thrown in the middle of nothingness. Now,
Okay.
I don't know where I was. There was nowhere I was not. Wherever I looked, my attention could move surprisingly. My
Ah,
body is frozen, my attention can move, and wherever my attention goes, I am there, then and that.
wow.
Covered in golden light, and to the point where I could see prana, the particles in the
Ah,
air, shining with bright golden light, and I was the light.
ah,
Okay. And at that time, time had stopped. I know my breathing had stopped, and my mind had stopped.
hmm,
Now, I don't know how long that lasted, maybe 5 minutes or 7 minutes, or I could be half an hour. So slowly my mind came back, my senses came back.
hmm,
And my first thought was, that is impossible. What was that? And second thought was, if I spoke about this to anybody, they'll think I've lost it. I've gone mad.
hmm,
I can't speak to anybody about this.
ah,
They'll think I don't know what it is. I can't even explain it to somebody. So that set me on to seeking what that was, because it was so blissful. It was amazing. I mean, how do I tell you? It's unconditional love. You are with one with the universe. You are the universe, and it's such a beautiful show.
yeah.
So one of my friends who gifted me the Bhagavad Gita, I spoke to him, and he said, "Maybe Sukhdev, you're ready for Vedanta." So
Ah,
I started now from Bhagavad Gita, Krishna being God, came into Upanishads, and then I read them, and I was like, what? These guys are talking about what I've gone through, I've gone through. And then I had some belief in what they were saying. And then I realized what they were saying. And
oh,
then I understood and realized that the Krishna that I was worshipping is not separate from what I am.
yeah.
Yeah, so that was one experience that really changed my perspective of uh, when we say this entire universe is an illusion, a play, a drama.
Hmm,
It's not real. I
hmm,
had that experience in that point where I knew it's all a play, and I
yeah.
am completely safe from it.
Yeah. Lovely. It's,
Also, now these for anybody listening, these are not experiences that you should look forward to. If you start looking forward to such experiences, then you're on the wrong path of spirituality
hmm,
again. We
yeah.
don't usually talk about these spirit experiences in non-duality Advaita because they do not matter.
Hmm,
They do not matter because
hmm,
one simple principle of what the truth is:
hmm,
anything that comes and goes cannot be the truth.
yeah.
Find out what remains. So if an experience comes and goes, it can't be the truth. If a Krishna comes in front of you and goes, he
Hmm,
can't be the real Krishna.
right.
Yeah. So
Right.
do people go on this quest that I want to have that experience? Why didn't I have that? I'm going to work towards that experience. I'm going to do this and that to achieve
Hmm,
that. No, that's the wrong path.
hmm,
Find out who it is that wants that experience. That's
yeah.
never changing.
No, but you know what? I've had multiple experiences myself. So not, I mean, I love your experience and that's like a beautiful one. So I have had certain visions, in my
Yeah.
thoughts and stuff.
Yeah.
But you know something, those visions have given me so much happiness, such a lot of contentedness.
Yes.
I think they come for that purpose. They come to correct something in you or maybe
Yes.
guide you into something. So don't have to stick to that.
Yes. Exactly my point. What I'm saying is, if they
Ah,
come, well and good.
yes,
Don't, if you sit in meditation and you have a wonderful experience today and
right.
you go tomorrow expecting that again, that
Huh,
is wrong.
that is
Sit
wrong.
with no expectation. If it
Right.
comes, well and good. If it doesn't come, well and good.
Wow, amazing. So this is something which I've actually written in my book as well. My book is coming out, by the way, this month.
Oh, yeah. Well, what's it titled?
So I'll show you the front page. It's right here. So this is what it looks like.
Evolvement. Oh, that's the title of the book as well.
Yeah. So evolvement, I'll keep the E separate because
Yeah.
E is the energy that we are. So it's
Okay.
the energy.
Okay.
So yeah.
Okay.
So something which happened to me was because I've had some father issues.
Okay.
And my father was very, very dominating and had his own way of thinking. And actually, I started meeting people around me who actually were kind of filling up this gap that I felt about the father. And I'll tell you what happened with me. One day, I was sitting for meditation and I saw myself climbing some steps,
Okay.
okay, going higher. And there's this mountain, and I'm just climbing some steps.
Yeah.
I think somewhere, when you go to Hemkund Sahib,
Hmm.
those
Yeah. And
winding
the hills and
pathways
yeah.
and those steps, and I think something like that, similar.
Okay. Yeah.
And I saw this huge archway of flowers, beautiful archway, like wide, very
Yeah.
wide archway of flowers. And I
Yeah.
saw this figure standing there, which is like God, okay? And he's not male, not female, but a light. He's just standing and he's got his arms just open like that, okay?
Wow. Hmm.
And I'm just looking at him and I'm just running up to him. And I've always seen God as a brother or as a friend. I've never seen him as a father. And that moment, you know what? I'm just looking up at him. I'm just like some 20 steps to go. And he looks at me and he says in Punjabi, he says, Meri thi aa gayi, like my daughter has come. That
Wow.
feeling that gave me, that was
Yeah.
like, my daughter has come.
Yeah.
Someone is waiting for me, someone is expecting me.
Yeah.
And I remember, like, till now, when I get that, I get the goosebumps.
Yeah.
And, in that one phase, like just the three letters, Meri thi aa gayi, I felt that so much love of a father to a daughter. And I realized that he is my permanent father. I was getting affected by a father who was my temporary father.
Yeah.
So can you imagine, like, so I don't expect him to always be standing there and saying, "Okay, whatever." But that one experience changed my life. It
Beautiful.
it literally took away the entire anguish that I had ever felt about my father. So I no longer have that because I know my father loves me.
Right. Right.
It's my
Beautiful.
permanent father, not my temporary father. And
Yeah.
that changed my perspective of life.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
this was one thing which actually I read in I added in my book in the end, but yeah, that's part of it. But that's part of the
Beautiful.
whole thing. And so this is your experiences are something which. So I don't expect it to be permanent,
Yeah.
but at the right time, imagine just those three words, just that one small thing. It's like putting a match to Tinder and like everything just changes.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
It's so beautiful. And you're like, and I realize that those experiences make us.
Yes.
So
Everyone is here. You are here. I am here as this. These souls are here to have an experience of life.
yeah,
And they say Earth is a school where you have come to learn some certain lessons. That's why you're
yeah,
here.
right.
And so, but you're here to experience. Now, the only thing is that I hope the new generation and all that, they are quite changing. But we have been brought up with a very different conditioned kind of life of fear, beliefs, you know, things which did not make sense and did not let us open our minds, think for
Yeah,
ourselves. We had people thinking for us,
right.
telling us what we can and we can't do. You spoke about Guru Gobind. Let me ask you first. Number one, why is your name Vrin? Is that a real your real name or is it some short form of something?
So the thing is that I was going through a very bad marriage, and
Ah,
my name actually was something else. I'm not going to share it right now, but it was also
okay,
with V. It was
okay,
also a small name,
yeah,
and that was from the Guru Granth Sahib. That we take out the alphabet from the Guru Granth Sahib.
yes, yes,
It was V, and I was going through a lot and depression, and I just felt that I need to change my name. I wanted a new identity,
yeah,
and I did not know which name to go. And one thing my nani said, so my father said that you cannot change your name, it is given to you. So he's very autocratic, like a dictator.
mm,
So he said, nahi kar sakte. And also my nani was very progressive. So she said, what name do you want to change to? So, she asked me, and I said, I'm clueless. I don't know which name to go for. She said, the one thing I request you, don't change the V, because the
okay,
V is from the Guru Granth Sahib, that you keep same, but
right,
you change the name. And I was dabbling in numerology. And I knew I wanted my name to be the letter 15 for some reason.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's whatever. And I was doing it on my own. I didn't go to anyone, whatever. I was just kind of dabbling it on my own. And somewhere this name was just reaching out to me. And but I was, the spellings were not coming because whatever. And I wanted to be 15. So I actually made a double I.
Okay.
I said VRIIN. And actually, this name also means Lord Krishna, by the way.
Oh, really? I was going to ask you. I've never heard it
So it's
before.
Vrindavan. It's
Okay.
Vrindavan, which is Krishna
Yeah,
ka
yeah.
Van. So it's
Okay. Okay.
Vrindavan. So Vreen jo hai, even the name Vrinda is all, they are all
Yeah.
Krishna ka naam. So
Okay.
it's
Okay.
Vreen. So Vri jo tha, to wo VRIN to tha. But I
Yeah.
wanted to make it VRIIN because it sounds Vreen.
Okay.
So
Okay.
that is what I did. And I changed my name. And I actually found a lot of change happening within me. And I felt that
Yes.
somewhere that there was a lot of more peace happening.
Yes. Yes.
And
Yes.
and yeah, and
People don't understand this.
uh,
Logically, it doesn't. It doesn't sound right. But here's the theory behind doing it. If you join a monastery,
huh,
monks, the first thing they do when you join a monastery is they give you a new name.
right.
And
Uh,
the reason for that is so that you no longer identify with who you are before this.
correct.
It's just a psychological change. That's it. But
Yeah,
it works.
it
It
works.
works. So
Yeah.
now you are no longer that we who went through that bad phase, you know?
Huh.
So
Yeah.
psychologically it works.
Yeah.
And that's the only reason. So that, like you said, I did not no longer want to be identified with that. So now
Huh.
you're not identifying with that. Vrin is this that started from this,
Yeah.
and this doesn't is not has nothing to do with the past.
No, it wasn't an easy
Yeah,
transition
yeah, it
because
takes
there
time.
was so much baggage. I mean, I came into this thing, like you talk about soul leadership. It did not happen just the way it did. It because I was such a weak person and I was such a scared thing, and I realized that with spirituality, once I started working on this, that inner leadership started happening. You're not scared, you're able to take decisions, you're stronger, you know what you want, your inner voice has got activated. Now, what I do with people, in soul leadership, we activate their inner voice. They get their own wisdom. They are like stronger. They can decide for themselves. They're not no longer confused,
Yeah,
and that healing is automatically going to happen. So this is what, when I work with my people, people come to me and I mentor them. And so this is soul leadership. That's why I call it, because mind, body, soul, now you are all aligned and
yeah,
you're meant to be a leader in whatever you do,
yeah,
and that leadership just comes out. And that came to me. And and so my name, yeah, but yeah, healing myself first was the crux. I had to heal a lot of things, so much baggage, so much mental anguish, and many things which were, the all that you have kind of accumulated,
yeah,
but
yeah,
the tragedies of your life. And you were like, I was a victim, and to come out and say that I'm no longer a victim, like I'm done.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I
you
love
know
the work you're doing. I love the work you're doing. It's really amazing, and
uh,
I'm sure you're benefiting so many people. That's why I was doing this. I'm sending blessings to you.
thank you, thank
It's
you.
amazing. There are people who need all that. There are people who need it
Yeah.
to heal, because the complex way that we have been brought up is we do not understand what is actually bothering us. We may
Mm.
think it's financial, but it could turn out to be something emotional related to some other person.
Yeah.
You know? Like simple things like even our relationship with money.
Huh.
Uh, we have always been taught rich people are evil. Rich people, that's what Bollywood movies used to show us in the 80s. All the rich people were the evil, were the villains. And the
Correct.
heroes, always this, young guy who was poor and from the hut and the slum. And everybody wanted to be the hero, not the villain. The villain was the rich guy. And so we never wanted to be the villain. And so
Ah,
subconsciously, we never want to be rich because rich
correct.
equals villain, bad
Ha.
person.
Those
We've
quotes
been
they would
brought up.
wear, the villains, and like, yeah, like, and the
Yeah.
heroes like struggling, full life is
Yeah.
struggle.
Yeah.
I
So
totally agree.
people, yeah. So you're doing that. So people do need help to find out where the problem is.
Ah,
Uh, Physically also. To give you an example, I used to work out and do bodybuilding a
mm,
few years back, and
mm,
so I suddenly got a pain in my shoulder.
okay.
And I thought it's something to do with the shoulder. For 1 month, I went through the pain, took painkillers. I thought I'll massage it, I'll do exercise it, and it never went away. And so then I went to the doctor, and the sure shot way, I went to a physiotherapist first. So he tried some exercises, some heating, and all that. Still didn't go away. So I wanted to know what the problem was. I mean, if we know what the problem is, then we know what to do about it.
Mm,
And so I went to do an MRI scan. That's
mm.
the sure shot way to find out where it is. Now, the problem is in my cervical bone. There's a
Okay.
nerve there that's being pinched and causing a pain in the shoulder. And here
Ah,
I am trying to massage the shoulder.
okay. Right. Yeah.
So
The source is
it's the
something
same thing.
different.
Yeah. So
Ah,
beliefs and emotions are stuck like that. You're trying to do something while the problem is somewhere else.
ah, right. Yeah. So
So
your
you're doing
emotions, everything is like, yeah. Yeah, I
you're
love
doing
that.
a great job.
Emotions, thoughts, and actions. I just love that. Yeah,
Ichha
absolutely.
Shakti, Gyan Shakti, Kriya Shakti. That's
Yeah, Shakti.
Ma Shakti, and that's the absolute truth.
Yeah. You know what? How, today's youth, I feel, are divided. I have this feeling because
Yeah.
there is one set of youth, who are just like, let's enjoy. We only live once. And we are just, this life is just meant to be lived and enjoyed and don't tell us anything. And there is this other side of the youth, which I feel are, the ones who are, they are saying, no, we want a better world. We want to have, we want to change things in life. And they are supremely better than their parents,
Okay.
the kind of stuff that they are bringing.
Yeah.
So I remember my nani's one friend called Kanta Auntie, she was a very big influence in my life. And this group of people, my nani and her friends, they actually changed us because
Okay.
this group of ladies were very forward thinkers. They were progressive. And so one of the person, and she's, by the way, she just died during COVID and a big loss to us. She was in her 90s. She would always say that this one generation, which is, these kids who are coming, they are going to be Satyugi Bache.
Oh, wow.
Satyug is going to come because it's just a way of the mind,
Yeah. Yeah.
no?
Yeah.
And he says, ki, the kids coming now are the ones who are going to usher in Satyug.
Yeah. Yeah.
So the children are, very different. And I see that. I see my
Yeah.
son, I see his, many of the people around me they have that different vibe, you know.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
And you know what, when I was talking to you earlier, you mentioned, you're coming up with, your own channel, your OTT channel, Vedic culture, and, to help children, to help them
The
give them
youth. Yeah.
answers.
Yeah.
And somewhere, that connected with me. I said, here is someone who is, because these children are not getting their answers from their parents.
Yes.
They need more. They need something which parents are not able to provide.
Yes.
So I want you to really see ki what made you come for this channel and what made you start this and join them, and where do you see it growing?
Yeah. Thank you. Uh, I had the same questions when I was a kid. My dad just said, "This is the way it is. Believe
Ah,
it." I don't have the answers to your crazy questions. So I had a lot of those questions. Um, it's an OTT channel that we're starting. It's titled Sanatan Sansar, and it's gonna cover a lot of our Vedic culture. If you go down to the roots of what Sanatan is,
hmm,
Sanatan, number one, is not a religion. It
correct.
is a culture, a way of life, a Sanskriti.
Yes.
Um, and the way of life, what kind of way of life? The way to live a fully complete human being life. So you experience everything in harmony. In harmony with what? In harmony with nature.
Hmm,
So your emotional needs are taken care of, your intellectual needs are taken care of, your physical needs are taken care of, and your financial needs are taken care of. There was a certain way of living, of
hmm,
doing things, even simple things like eating. Why did they eat with their fingers and hands instead of a knife and a fork? Why
right.
do we touch the feet of elders? Why do women put a bindi on their these are all, they had scientific reasons for all these things. So these
Right.
are questions that the youth have, and the parents don't have answers. So the youth says, I don't believe it. It's just your belief. You believe it. I don't believe it. It doesn't make sense. So the youth today need logical answers.
Yes.
Logical answers. So what
Huh.
does a logical answer means? It means make me understand intellectually or reasonably with rational that 2 plus 2 is 4.
Hmm.
I see that you're saying 2 plus 2 is 5, but I understand 2 plus 2 is 4. So
Right.
if you're going to tell me 2 plus
Huh.
2 is 5, then you're asking me to believe in it.
Correct.
See, so
Huh.
don't use
Nobody.
my mind, believe in it.
Uh,
So there are a lot of people who are emotional. They don't want to use their intellect. So those are the emotional people. They will believe, and that's a different. That's bhakti yoga. You believe
uh,
in a god, right? Then you come to jnana yoga. Now you in jnana yoga, there is no space for belief and faith.
right.
Don't ask me to believe anything. I want a logical explanation. If you have one, please provide. Otherwise, I'll go and find my own. That's the reason for people being atheist.
Hmm.
People talk about God and they go out and look for God and they don't find God and they say there is no God. There is nothing like God because they're looking for a God. The God that you're talking about does not exist. It's just in your mind.
Right.
So logically, uh, Upanishads, Vedanta answers these questions head on.
Right.
What was the scientific reason for things like Ayurveda,
Hmm.
mindfulness, meditation, Gurukul system, the schooling system, the celibacy part of where children were expected to be celibates when they went to school, and then they had to come back home and become a householder. They were not
Uh,
never told you become a sannyasin straight away. Come
correct.
home, get married, have children, and then there comes a phase of life where now you are done with life. Now you devote your life to spirituality and the good of the
Right.
universe. So they had this dharma, artha, kama, moksha. These are the four ways of
Hmm.
happiness for a complete human life. Now, all those answers are there in our scriptures. The
Hmm.
youth do not have those available to them or somebody to explain to them. Maybe the parents don't know the
Hmm.
answers themselves, like my parents didn't know the answers.
Hmm.
So at least the people who know the answers should come out and talk about it. You
Yeah.
should talk about it.
Hmm.
What you don't know, don't talk about. But what you know, talk about it because there are
Correct.
people who need to listen to it.
Yeah.
Uh, so we are doing that. It's going to cover all areas of life.
Right.
Um, and so to have an emotional, physical, intellectual, financial balance in
Hmm.
society, in
Correct.
the nation, in the world, in the universe.
Yeah.
Just to give you a simple example,
Huh.
like when I was young, and I was exposed to all these religions, and I was
Hmm.
asking who is the supreme one, who is the supreme one. So I read the Guru Granth Sahib, and the Mool Mantra, the first one,
Hmm.
starts off with Ikonkar Satanam, the
Become
Mool
that.
Mantra. Yeah,
Huh.
right. So after I realized non-duality, Advaita, the true self, you realize the oneness, you become one with the oneness. Now you go back and understand these same teachings. They have been so misinterpreted by people.
Hmm.
The translation. If I, for example, you are a Sikh, you have
Hmm.
heard Ikonkar so many times.
Hmm.
Tell me what you have understood. What does Ikonkar mean? Just these three words.
So
Ikonkar.
I'll tell you what. So the thing is that I've had many saints who have come to our house, and matlab,
Ah, yeah, yeah,
we
yeah, yeah.
have always had lot of people, and I keep meeting saints and whatever. I get to Punjab, and
Yeah.
I'm blessed. So the best explanation that I ever got for the Ek Omkar was that, so Ek is alag, okay, and it was like, oh, matlab that one God, ahang is me, oh ahang, और ये कार, ये जो सृष्टि है, ये सब एक है. So
Okay.
it's ek o ahankar. It's like that is why everything is one. That is what I got, and that is, so I believe in that. So this is what he's saying. Ke
Yeah.
ek o ahankar. That is,
Okay.
so I've
Okay.
always, this is what has been my most
So,
beautiful.
that
Yeah.
that's a beautiful explanation. Now, the way
Uh,
you did it, when
huh.
you say ek on
O
kar,
ahang and
aham.
kar
Okay.
and
So you
kar.
have said one
Huh.
o
Hmm.
God,
Yeah.
aham, kar.
And
Right?
ka. Yeah.
So all this is one.
Yes.
So God, me, and the universe is one,
Is one.
right?
Yeah. Right.
If I say that you are God, that's what you're
Huh.
saying, isn't it?
Yeah.
Isn't that what you're saying? You're saying you're God, right? You're
Yes.
saying you're the universe.
Yes.
You are saying you're the person as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's a brilliant explanation.
Huh.
But if you see the translations
Hmm.
that you'll find of Ikonkar, Satnam, Kartapuk, the translations are there is one God. There
Huh.
is but one God. There is one universal God. Okay.
Right.
Now, from philosophy point of view,
Hmm.
if I want to understand logically,
Hmm.
my first question, because in logic we only have words,
Right.
and so if you speak a word, I have the right to question every word that you say. Okay.
Correct.
So, ik own car.
Hmm.
Your translation or somebody's translation, there is one God. Stop.
Yeah.
Now, let's start. You said the word there. My question, where?
Right.
Because
Any,
if you say it there, it
huh.
cannot, it can mean anywhere,
It
but
cannot be here.
definitely
It
not
is
here. It
there.
can't be
Somewhere
here.
there. Out of
It is
me.
separate, right?
Yeah. It
Right.
is like
So,
outside of me.
so
Ha.
there is one God,
Ha.
right? Now, this one can go on looking for that one God that is there. He'll never find it.
Correct. Right.
Never. Or your initial start of search,
Ha.
spirituality is already divided from the beginning. Now it would just keep going that way. God
Ha.
and you will
Yeah.
keep going that way because your starting is wrong,
Correct.
right?
Right.
So my dad always told me when I started writing my books, he said, write something on Sikhism, write something on Sikhism. And, I was a singer, so he used to tell me, sing some Shabad. So I did a
Ha.
Shabad for him as well. So what I thought is I'll do a book on Sikhism and I'll take the Mool Mantra and explain it from the non-dual point of view. And so I went to gurudwaras in Mumbai,
Hmm.
and most of the Gyanis did not know. Even what the explanation you have given me is brilliant. They did
Hmm.
not even know this much.
Ha.
Okay. So, and then I realized they told me that we are only Ragis. We are not Gyanis. We are Ragis. We are taught how to sing and pronounce the Guru Granth Sahib. We don't understand it. We just sing it. So I
So
understood that.
I also agree somewhere with what you're saying because I remember so some time back there was somebody I knew who had some problem, and you know how we do ardas, we do the khand part and
Yeah.
everything. So I actually went to the gurdwara and she had some problems happening in her life or whatever. And I said, I need that. There's some negativity happening with her. Okay. And I said, we will do the part, we'll do the ardas, and we will start the khand part. The Gyani ji in the Gurdwara had a fight with me. He said, there's no such thing as negativity. There is no such thing as this negativity, only say Sukh Shanti ki Ardas. I said, no, I need this to be done because there are certain elements in her life which are hurting her and this has to go away.
Yeah.
And only with part, because we are doing the Khand part, they had a fight with me. And they wouldn't let us do the Khand part. They said no. And I said, it's okay. I'm a Sikh. I can do my own Ardas.
uh,
And you know what? He walked out of that Gurdwara,
uh,
that room, and he
yeah.
said, I am not going to do this. So you do what you want to. I said, okay, fine. I will do it. And because being a Sikh, मैंने चरनी लगी हुई है, I've done everything. So,
Yeah.
I'm a baptized Sikh.
Yeah.
अमृत छक्या हुआ है. I said, I will do it. I said, I don't know. I don't need you. I literally, I spent 10 minutes. I did the ardas. I did everything. I said, जो भी negativity है, इससे निकालो. I did whatever. I said,
Yeah.
end of the day, I am in front of my Guru Granth Sahib, right?
Absolutely.
I am not going to 5 different places and finding some solution. I'm coming to here. I mean, they don't understand this basic concept of coming and there and finding your answers.
Yeah.
There's such a blinkered view of
Yes. Yes. Yes.
life,
Yeah.
and that is never going, because if we are all one, you can't have this blinkered view.
You can't. You can't.
You can't. And
Yeah.
I find that to be so weird, and that is why people are struggling to understand Sikhism, because Sikhism is this beautiful religion.
All of them, all the
All
religions,
of them.
all of them. Let me give you a simple the
Yeah.
explanation of ikonkar.
Huh.
Number one, any text that you want to understand, understand only the words that have been written.
Yeah.
Do not read a translation of anybody, including my books or anything I've written.
Hmm.
What has been said by the saint or the sage or the scripture, read those words because those words are very precise.
Very
So,
precise.
ikonkar is like you said, ik. Ik means one.
Yeah.
It's the only holy scripture in the world that starts with a number. It doesn't start with a word. And
Yes.
there's a reason for that because number one cannot be misinterpreted. If it was written in words, it could have
Huh.
been misinterpreted, spelling mistake and pronunciation,
Ah,
but it's a number.
number.
One, own means the creation,
Huh.
kar means the creator.
Create.
Kalakar, Sangeetkar, this car, that
Ah,
car. Kar is the
ah.
creator.
Right.
Own is the creation. So, ik, own, kar.
Huh.
One, creation, creator.
Create.
The creation and the creator is one,
One. Yeah.
right? So here is no question of there is one. God is not mentioned in it. There
Huh.
is here and there is not mentioned in it. You
Right.
know. So these
Yeah.
are translations which people have added their own words on it. One
Hmm.
own car, one creation creator. What is this one? Which one is it? Its name is Sat.
Sat.
Satna, the
Satna.
truth.
Is the truth. Yeah.
And when
Everything.
you say the truth,
Huh.
from the human point of view, you will say the truth of what? No, not of this or that, here or there, then or when. The
Hmm.
truth. That means the truth of everything.
Yeah.
So
Right.
understand just the words,
Huh.
and all the religions have that, all of them.
All of
It's
them.
these interpretations that we have been led to understand. There is one God, and you'll always think God is there.
No, so I tell people, like this is one thing which I do with my sessions also. When they talk about God, I draw on a piece of paper,
Yeah,
I draw the planets. Okay, so we have whatever 9 planets, Pluto or Uranus or whatever. So you draw all the planets. How we learn 9 planets, so we'll do 9 planets. I know that
yeah,
one is a what do you call some planet or something like that. But yeah, so I this is the solar system. This is our planets, everything, and I say where is God?
huh,
So people get confused, like where is God? Okay, so
huh,
they're like now wondering. So I said we are on Earth. Okay, in
yeah,
Earth there is India. We are in Mumbai. We are there. That is
right,
so we are part of the whole thing. But where is God?
yeah,
Because you talk about God is somewhere there, right? So where is God?
yeah,
Okay, and then it strikes them that the paper is God. So
yeah.
obviously, where you drew it out, so first came God and then came everything else. So we are not out of God, we are in God. So God
And
is
you
not
are
in
God.
us. Yeah. So we are not in God. Like God is not in us. We are in God. And that's why we are one with God. So that is how, so I explain. So this is something which people, and then they like, like, okay, that's why we are all together. We're all there because we are all part of the same thing. That's when you understand, and that's how things, then we kind of work on that. Yeah, but this is part of it. So this is one
Yeah, yeah.
example which I give.
Yeah, yeah. I wrote the same example
Ah,
I've used in my book. So I wrote a book on this
okay.
Mool Mantra titled The Day I Met Guru Nanak.
Ah,
And so
nice.
in that I have a story where a character is sitting on the beach, depressed and all that, and
Hmm.
an old man comes and sits with him, and he sees him in depressed, and he asks him what's the problem, and then he explains to him
Ah,
the Mool Mantra, and then at the end he realized, oh my God, that was Guru Nanak who came and explained the Mool Mantra to me in
okay.
non-duality. So in
Lovely.
that, at the end of it, I use the same example that you have given. So one side of this person in the middle of the picture, there is the mountains and the sky and the sun. On the other side, there's a city bustling with the activity, cars, people, things going on, and he's in the middle and he's watching them. And so we say, how do you interpret? This is what the universe is. There's a person and there's a universe around us. So how do you interpret Ikonkar in this picture? If you take this picture to be the up slice of the universe. So Ik, what is one in the entire thing? It's the paper, right?
Ah,
Own the creation. The creation, the entire picture is one picture.
hmm.
The picture is one. Car, the creator of the picture, is
Ah,
nothing but ink.
right.
The ink is all one.
Yeah.
It's forming different figures, different
Right.
things on the picture. But the ink is not separate from the paper, neither is it separate from the things. Now, the things in the picture think they're separate from each other,
Correct. Yeah.
right?
But they're not.
They're
Yeah.
not. They're not.
Beautiful, beautiful. We're all one.
Hanuman was asked by Ram. Now
Hmm.
Ram is God and Hanuman is his devotee, diehard devotee, and Ram wants to know what Hanuman thinks of him. So he asks Hanuman, "What do you think of me?" And Hanuman, as well, is enlightened and fully realized. He says, "If I see you and me as we are right now in these bodies,
Hmm.
you are my Lord. I am thy master. Sorry, I am thy servant.
Right.
I am your das. You are Bhagwan. I am your das. If I see the universe, you are the complete whole. I am a little part. If I see myself as I truly am, you and I are one and the same."
Yeah. I think this has been a lovely, lovely, lovely conversation. And I think this is a very good note to end the conversation
Oh,
on.
sure. Yeah, sure.
This is beautiful. And you know what? I think coming in contact with you, we spoke about, non-dualism and, non-duality and Advaita. I actually did my research, on that.
Okay. Lovely.
And I see, for me, it's all been very instinctive. My own growth, my own journey, my own things. I never knew some name to call it. What is the
Okay.
name to
Yeah,
call
yeah,
this? Or, because this was just happening to me, you
yeah,
know, and it was my own way. And that's why I kept my own name of soul leadership and, all that. Because
yeah,
that was resonating with me. But I think understanding that our initial conversation when we spoke about this,
yeah.
that actually now has made me more aware of things, and has given it that lovely name. And I totally appreciate that about
Ah,
this. And thank you
welcome.
so much for doing that and making me also aware about this. Thank you.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. If I was Ramana Maharshi right now, I would have asked you, who is it that is aware?
Ah,
Is
right.
that one aware? Is that one affected? Oh,
Yeah.
so yeah, so it's brilliant, and it's not only just talking about it. You have
Hmm.
many people who can talk, and maybe some people might also intellectually understand it, but
Hmm.
is not the end.
Hmm.
You have to realize it. Realize means it has to become a living reality for you. It's
Yeah.
not going to become another concept that you understood of non-duality or Advaita Vedanta. It has to become a living reality for you. That's what we call realization. It's become real for you.
Right.
It's real that I am one with the universe, I am one with God, and I am this person as well. And this is all an illusion going on. It's a beautiful place, beautiful movie going on. And so,
Ah.
what I do with the people that who come up to me is not only answer their questions. Like I
Ah.
said, Advaita answers all the questions
Hmm.
and then it transcends them. So
Yeah.
it dissolves the questioner. So I make them experience that as well.
Yeah.
So, because when you experience it once, you will not have a question ever again. So, in my one-on-one calls and the people
Ah.
who come to me after the books, when they experience it once,
Right.
there is no question left. There is no question left.
No, but even, the name of your podcast, the Silent Sages.
Yeah.
I can't let you go. Why silent sages?
Uh, if you see all the scriptures, all the saints and sages,
Ah,
all spoke in paradoxes.
ah,
All spoke in paradoxes. Yeah. So, Tattvamasi, that thou art, you are that. So, if you say I am that, that means I am not this, right? If you say I am the universe,
ah,
then that means the universe must be me, but I don't feel that. Things like paradoxes, like in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna gives so many of them. The one who sees action in inaction and action in inaction, sorry, inaction in action, is the one who truly sees. In you go in Buddhism, before enlightenment, chopping wood, carrying water. After enlightenment, chopping wood, carrying water. Did nothing change? Nothing changed. So why do it? So all paradoxes. So
yeah,
the title "Silent Sages Speak" is a paradox. How can silent people speak?
correct, right.
And I had interviewed my first podcast with somebody called Emerson, and he writes poetry, and he had written this beautiful poetry. One of the verses was, "I am a dealer in silence, but I can only supply with words."
Ah,
So I only have words to give you, but what I'm dealing in is silence. So
right.
that's where the name came from, Silent Sages Speak.
And even my experience with so many of these saints, they are that just that one hint, they just drop it. and then they take a step back, and they are, and it takes me like, it took me like somewhere, I remember one thing, it took me 2 3 years to understand what they were meaning.
Right, right.
They don't let you, because that's it, one thing,
Yeah.
and then they're like done. So it's like it's up to you whether you will, what you will do with it.
Yeah. Have you heard the story of the 10th man? Have you
No,
read the Upanishads?
no, no,
Okay, there's a
no.
beautiful story about the same thing. But what all these paradoxes are trying to do, if you understand it now
Hmm.
logically,
Yeah.
they are trying to shut the mind. They are trying to shock the mind. If you go into
Okay.
Zen Buddhism, they have koans. So
Hmm.
they'll say things like, try to imagine your face
Hmm.
before you are born.
Oh,
So the
okay.
mind it completely what? It's like a shock to the mind. Oh, what
Huh.
did you? I mean, how do I do that? Right?
Right.
But at that moment of that shock, yeah, you're meant to realize, oh, what was that? That was there. That's
Uh,
what it's meant to do because that part the person cannot do for you. The story of the 10th man is so beautiful, and it applies to this uh, phenomena of why these paradoxes are used. There are 10 people. We have time to narrate it.
yeah, 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 let's finish. I
Five
will
minutes.
not end it. I need to know this.
Five,
I
five,
need to
5 minutes.
know.
Okay.
Yeah.
So in ancient India, there was a Swami who had 10 disciples, and he wanted to send his disciples across the river to another ashram, to another Swami, to learn something else from him.
Hmm.
So he tells his 10 disciples, he puts them in a line and counts them 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. You are 10 of you. Make sure when you get to the river, fold your clothes, swim across the river. It's a very turbulent river. Make sure that everybody has reached on the other end, right? Before you carry on. Make sure nobody's swept away by the river.
Right.
So he gives them that instruction, and so they go, they reach the river, they fold their clothes, they swim across. So as they reach the other side, one of them, one by one, they keep coming, and after some time, they all stop. Nobody else is coming from the river. So one of them asks, "Are we all here? Is everybody here?" And everyone says yes. And but some intellectual guy says, "Why don't you just count?" And so one of them puts them all in he says, stand in the line, and he counts 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Wait. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 10th person is missing. Where is the 10th man? Oh my God, we've lost the 10th man. He's drowned, right? And they are in fear and
What is
sorrow, and they are,
happening there?
right? So he's sitting there. Now all of them are sad, and they are sitting, in grief that the 10th man has drowned. And a wise man passing by sees, comes and asks them, "Why are you all sad?" And the person explains to them, "Look, we were 10 when we came, and now we are only 9. So the 10th man is drowned, and that's why we are sad." And the wise man quickly does a count, and he realizes what the mistake is. And so he tells them, "Look, the 10th man is there." And they say, "No, no, no, we've counted." And he says, "No, no, count again." And says, "We've already done it." He says, "Humor me, just count them again." And so one of them puts them in a line again, and it says 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And the wise man takes the hand and says, "Thou art the 10th." And this person, "Oh my God, I am the 10th. Woo, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. The 10th man is found." Right? And all of them go in turns and they say, "Oh my God, let me try it. Let me try it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Oh my God." Now, this turning of realizing this
Huh.
cannot happen if the person does not realize. Had he turned the hand and
Huh.
this person said, "Yeah, but so what?" He didn't realize that he's the 10th. Only he can realize he's the 10th.
Yeah.
That
Love.
turning is very important.
Lovely, lovely. I had a lovely conversation with you, Sukhdev. I'm
Yeah.
looking forward to really meeting you. Once you're a little bit free, definitely would like to
Yeah.
meet you. And let's do this again, Sukhdev. I think there's still a lot more that we have to explore.
Thank you so much, and keep doing the lovely work that you're doing. You are one of the most strongest women I've come across. Checked your profile, your YouTube podcast as well, and keep helping people. The world needs people like you.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Lovely. Thank you. Thank you.